So today is another day, which is Sunday, 2nd of February 2025. So I had to suspend the work because a client's vehicle came, so I shifted my attention to repair the car. So by the time I was done, it was almost late. But I was able to conclude work here and then pass the wire to the engine bay. So today, Sunday, I started around 9 a.m. So let me show you what I've actually done so far. So like I said, you guys saw when I was able to plug in this switch. So this is the connection I've done so far. So I'm going to. So what I did was I took current from the ignition here and the ignition key. So now this switch, so what I did was I put it on. This is output for this. If you have a phase 1 505, this is the signal switch. That's the, they call it over here, we call it double navigator. So this is like the 2. If you press it, the 2 of them will start to blink. So now for this this 2, you can see I marked it. It's input output. So so what I did was the one I drew current from the switch entered one. This is the one. Yes, this one. Now the one that goes to the engine bay that is supposed to power the compressor. So I now had to fuse it. That's this one. I put 15 amp fuse. So reason why I fuse it, remember you have to pass it to the body of the car to enter the engine bay, so that if there's any issue, there's probably short circuit or touched any part of the, or something wrong, instead of the connection to have issue to start burning wire, so it will cut off the supply from here. So cut off the supply, so it won't be able to, whatever that is happening will stop. Yeah. So once you cut it out, so the power supply cannot get to that switch. It stops here. So okay, so let's continue. So what I've done now is, so that anytime my AC doesn't work, the first thing I'll do is to pull this switch from here, pull it out, and check if that fuse is connected. The reason why I want this one to always easily come out is so that I won't have to remove this underselling wheel cover to access this switch, because the only way to do that, for example, to remove any of these two, is to remove this and then put my hand behind to push it out. So now it's much easier to remove from here. So all I do, I just find something a little bit to let it hold on, a little, maybe small piece of paper, so I can always draw it out. So that's where I've stopped here. What I might do, I could also add another, this, I think that's what I'm going to do, because I have an extra one. What I mean by this, I have extra one. I can put another fuse for the one from the engine bay, so that if it cuts, it can cut in the engine bay without even getting to this point. So I'll fuse 2. I actually have additional one. There are actually 2. So I can choose any one I want among these. Okay, so so I haven't covered here because I still have something to do. So let's now come to the engine bay. So these ones I did them today. So this is the relay that is going to power let me bring it out. I'm not sure if it's the right way, but I might leave it here. But the other relays, the previous owner put here, I don't know what they are doing. So so for this one, I'll leave it. I'm going to mark it AC here, so that I always know this is for the AC compressor. So what I now did was, I ran the trigger, which is 1, to the input, to this one, which is number 1. This is number 1. Then negative goes to the battery terminal. You can run it from anywhere. Now, which is trigger pin 2. The trigger from that switch is pin 1. Now for pin, okay, let me remove this so that you guys can see it. Okay. So not sure if you guys can see. So this is 1. This is from that switch from under the dashboard. Now this is 2, negative, the battery terminal. 3. Now 3 must be permanent positive. So what I did was I ran it from the battery terminal, positive sign, and which is 3, and then 5. This is 5. So this one now supplies voltage. When you press that switch, it will trigger, power this relay. Then it supply power to, I run 2 connections here. One goes to the fan in front of the AC condenser, while the second wire now goes to the compressor. So I've tapped everything. So the one I'm going to do, I'm going to put another fuse here, but I really don't think there's a need to put fuse here, because let's assume if something happens, let's say the wire that I passed from outside touch somewhere here, body of the vehicle, because that one is positive current or voltage. So if you touch something or something wrong with the relay or whatever it is, so what it's now going to do is that surge power issue or surge will go and cut that fuse inside the vehicle. So once it comes inside the vehicle, the current will only stay on that switch. It will not pass into the engine bay. So it will no longer supply. So it protects what is under, it protects the switch, it protects the ignition switch or every other wiring connection. So so it cuts off the supply here. So, but if I want, I could still put it here, just fulfill all righteousness. So, which is secondary, it's not really needed, but just because I have that fuse holder, so I can always do another one. So let's show you guys how it works. I've done all that. So now one of them I forgot to mention, the 5, pin 5 here, that is supposed to go to, that goes to, that supply voltage to the fan, positive, and AC compressor. So what I did first was, I first run that one that goes to compressor first to this thermostat. I showed you guys the thermostat before now. So this is the aftermarket new thermostat. So which of the, you can see it has let me show to be sure you guys are seeing here clearly. It has 2 pins here. The 2 pins, this one is marked C, while this one is marked L. So now the connection, the power supply that goes to the compressor now goes to C. It goes to this C. pin on the compressor, on the thermostat, aftermarket thermostat, while the second pin that has L, you can see it here. Now it depends on the model of the thermostat you are using. I wouldn't know, but this is usually the common one they sell here for car installation of the thermostat for compressor. If your car doesn't have aftermarket, no factory thermostat, or is faulty, or you are just running a separate connection. So now this one, now the one that has L, is the one that now goes straight to the compressor. See it here. This is actually the previous connection to the compressor, but I've disconnected it. So this is the one that now goes to the compressor. Compressor only has one wire that comes out of it. As well as this Sanden. This is Sanden. I've not seen the number. I know it's Sanden, which was using this Sanden 506 or 504 or 505, 507, something like that. So these are the ones using 504 and 505. So you have only one wire that comes out of it, which is the positive wire that will power the compressor. So the ground supply is running from the engine. Okay, so let's see. I'll power it and see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to leave this thing here for now. Even if I relocate it, that will be much later, not now. But because I don't want it to mix up with other relays there. So I'm going to mark this one AC later on. Okay, so first thing first is to switch on ignition. So you can do it on the ignition step 1 or ignition step 2. So this is the switch. As you can see, it's not running. So now pay attention. I'm going to press the switch now. See whether you hear the compressor will kick in, and then the fan will start running. Remember, engine is not on, but I want you to hear the compressor clutch will kick in while the fan starts running. All right. You see, you can hear the fan. Okay, so I'm going to put the camera closer so that you guys can be hearing when the compressor kicks in. All right. Okay, so as you can see, let me switch off the ignition. So with the ignition off, you see, no noise. So the way I even did it, I did it such a way that I connected it on step 2, so that when you switch on, you crank the engine, it will cut off power supply. Let's assume your compressor is still on, the AC fan and the compressor clutch still on. Maybe engine went off or stalled. So if you want to restart the car, it means all you need to do is to crank the engine. It will, as you immediately you are cranking the engine, it will cut off power supply to the compressor and the condenser fan. So that's how I did the connection. There's connection step 1. If I connected it on step 1, what will happen is, even while cranking the engine and this switch is still on, it's going to keep the compressor running and the fan, which is going to drag the starter. So so basically I'm done with this connection. So let me show you the old connection, which is why I wanted to run it separate. So I'm going to, 2 things that is remaining for me to do on this car, you can see a lot of things I'm working on, is to change this. I actually have another one I've gotten. This is it. See it here. So so what that means is I'm going to remove it. You can see it's broken. So This is where they did bypass to the previous connection. So I'm going to disconnect it now, later on anyway, before I swap in this cover. So that's like I mentioned earlier, they did the connection to work with this blower. So for person to come out, it must get to this point before it kicks in. But now I'm going to, once I disconnect that, it will start supplying power to the relay. Let me show you the relay he used to power the compressor and the AC condenser fan. This is where they put that relay. Let me see. Okay. So this is how they put it. So maybe much later I'll come and disconnect it. This is a micro, this small relays. So most important thing is I need to once I disconnect it from there, it will stop powering on. If I disconnect it from that blower connection, it will stop to power this relay. So even though I didn't remove this wire, the wire that from here to the compressor, at least it will no longer pass current to it because the relay is not taken. Later on, I could see come trace the ground to that relay, disconnect it as well. Then that means the relay is dead. It's basically like, when I mean dead, it means it will no longer power on until I reverse the connection, which I don't intend to. So this is how I intend to run it. As you can see, my tools I've used to run this, two bags, wires, and some tools as well, and tapes. I've actually used up one roll of tape. So two things I'm going to do. I'm going to change that center console or AC vent part of the dashboard, and then if I have chance, I'm going to mount the swapping this currently what you have here is Barrier carburetor, Soles Z-on 3434. So I'm going to do a test to run this car with the AC and single barrier carburetor for probably, who knows, maybe some days, probably like 20 liters of fuel. We'll see. Then afterwards, I'll swap back this set of barrier carburetor, run the same thing. It's going to be a city use test. I'll try and maintain the normal speed and acceleration, the same driving style on both carburetors, without pushing aggressively, so that from there I will now know. Of course, I expect the single barrel carburetor to consume less, but you know. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to probably start with the dashboard before I come here, or with any one of them. So that's sorted out, and so it's kind of interesting. Is there another thing I need to do? Let's see. Okay, so I actually disconnected the radio, so later on when I'm done with this, I'll mount it back. Okay, so we'll update as work progresses.